Few more seconds. I see a lot of guys joining. Couple of more seconds.
Sure.
Okay. Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining us today. Welcome to our session on Agentic AI for supply chain. We are really excited to have you here. Before we dive in, just a quick moment on few of the housekeeping things.
Chris,
Post
do
this-
you want to give a minute? Like I know more joining things that. Let's give a 1 minute, one more minute.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, I see a lot of global team. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, maybe for a very quick thing, a housekeeping. This webinar is getting recorded, and the recording will be emailed after the session, after this event. During this session, feel free to ask your questions. We will take them throughout this webinar. At the end of the session, we will be taking these questions. Anybody wants to caption, they feel free to use the caption level and post this event. Once the demo and the event is getting completed, when you leave, you will have a quick survey. Feel free to use that. That will help us to understand how things have gone through. So very quickly, from the introduction side, I'm Rizwan. I'm the Senior Director at ConverSight here. I help supply chain organizations across the industries with AI in their business. I'll be your host and the anchor throughout this session. Join me is our expert and the supply chain leader, Ganesh. Ganesh is the CEO of ConverSight and the only decision intelligence company unifying AI, analytics, and supply chain. We are the AI partners to manufacturers, distributors, and retailers across the supply chain, as well as we partner with the SIs, ERP companies, and more. I'd love now like to invite Ganesh to take us forward and share his insights on what we are hearing, learning, and putting that into action with Agentic AI in the space of supply chain.
Great. Thank you, Rizwan, for inviting and hosting this webinar. Thank you all for joining, and good afternoon to everyone. And hope you all had the lunch, and I'm not going to bore you and put you in sleep. So hopefully I'll keep it alive. And supply chain is not a place where we can sleep, right? Supply chain is very, very disruptive, and thanks to all these global trade and tariffs and so much is going on. So in the supply chain space, whatever role you are playing, you are providing a solution, building a product, or taking care of the warehouse and critically tracking your inventory and cash flow. We are all in it together, right? We are all in it together in terms of how do we, mitigate the risk? How do we foresee what's coming? And how are we going to solve this and come out good, come out stronger for our organizations? So from that standpoint, I like to share some of the ideas on the agentic AI. So today we are going to talk a lot about agentic AI for supply chain. So agentic AI for supply chain is an interesting topic. I know we have a lot of participants here, and I see some of you are deep technical and some are very functional. So we want to just level set, right? So I'm going to just go through a little bit on, what is agentic AI is all about. Not technical, just general. If you are an already an expert, you already know that, right? So level set, then we'll go to some of the use cases we are seeing. I know AI can be applied, agentic can be applied for many use cases, but I am going to talk about use cases which are practical now we are seeing actually, right, within our customer segment and what interest we are seeing. That's what I'm going to talk about. So to start with, obviously, it's not we are all living through it last 3 years about this generative AI. And in the last 1 year, we are hearing about agentic AI and AI agent. And we are all confused, right? When to use agentic AI or what to call AI agent, right? So there's a lot of things happening, and the industry leaders and analysts all are talking about various different initiatives and all that. So at this time, I just wanted to quickly, get your feedback on what you are doing. I'm just going to launch a quick a poll, like, are you in this journey, right? Have you taken it? Have you already deployed some agent in your company, evaluating, or you're thinking about, or not in your plan, right? I'll tell you, the end of the session, I'll give you a little bit background, some of my conversation with some of these leaders. Some are really looking at opportunity. Some are looking at, oh, will it take away my job or my team's job? We don't want to get to that, right? So it's cultural thing, all that coming in. So great, I see a lot of participants. So let's just give another 20 seconds for rest of you to participate and think that way, and I'll be able to share some of the insights. I think most of you are, it's 75% now. Wow, 75% is trending towards currently evaluating, and some are in future, and like what? 2 are already deployed. I'm sure you are still learning, post that deployment, right? So cool. So that is coming along. So keep going. I think I will. So another 10 seconds more to end the poll. I think you are almost there. Great. So yeah, I think it's more and more the percentage is growing on currently evaluating only. So keep it going. So that is a trend. So we are seeing mostly currently evaluating and in future. So that's great. Let me in that poll. Okay. So got it. I got the results. Great. Now let's level set, right? What is generative AI? What is agentic AI, right? The moment we talk about generative AI, everybody knows ChatGPT, but this Gen AI or generative AI has been there for quite some time, at least for a few years before we all started using the ChatGPT or Copilot. But it's an amazing tool, right? And so happy that we are living in this time where all these technologies are happening, right? It's an unbelievable technology. What we all used to spend hours in creating a code or generating some text. It's like you just need to ask, or in a simple prompt, we are all getting it. It's amazing, but we also understand that it's a creator, but then it's a reactive creator. It's thinking, but not beyond what you can think, right? You need to tell what you want, right? And more and more, I think it's working really great. External generate text data, but when you come to a little bit more data within supply chain, obviously a little bit limited, and accuracy comes into play, and security come into play, and all those we are seeing it, right? So that is generative AI. I think we are all getting familiarized with that for last 3 years. But now let's look at the same way, the agentic AI. What's happening, right? It's more proactive and decision maker, right? So where we are setting some goals, okay, you are this, and you are this avatar, and go do this, and help me in my demand forecast, right? That's a great example. I think we are all used to all the complex demand forecasting, and we all started with that monster Excel with that 15 sheets and all the kind of formulas, and from there we moved on. Some of you have some of these planning tools and all that, but today we don't need to have those zillion calculations and all these tables and finding the safety stock to lead time to it's amazing that what these agentic AI can now do on the demand forecasting and all that. So obviously it is using lot of knowledge, and the LLM is a common for all these, right? LLM is a backbone for all of these, and it basically using a lot of reasoning and bring that action, and then it's learning, right, from the feedback, all that. And it is multi-step, right? So agentic AI is definitely different than generative AI, and it's a lot more action-oriented. So if you just need to think about it, it can make decision, it can start acting, right? But in generative AI, it can just suggest. Now, the same tone, it's not a whole different. What is agentic AI and AI agent, right? I have seen a lot of posts, LinkedIn posts, kind of use this term interchangeably, which is fine. I don't think it's a problem. But then if you really go a little bit deeper, are you building an AI agent or an agentic AI platform? Or do you need to evaluate your agentic AI platform for your company? Or, get a nice AI agent for a particular job, right? So it is interesting. It is very critical to understand the difference between the two, right? So obviously, as I mentioned, that agentic AI is going to make that autonomous decision. It's a collection of agents, right? It's not just one. And, for example, it can do your demand forecasting. And then from demand forecasting, it can do supply planning based on the lead time, safety stock, all that. And then now it can, call the buyer agent, and it can negotiate with the supplier, because your demand forecast show there's a spike in the demand, and you may be stocking out in next 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and you may want to talk to the supplier, right? That could be another agent. So agentic AI is that framework that could have orchestration of multiple agents, and it can coordinate multiple tasks from one domain to another domain, right? It can start with sales and operations plan, SNOP, and then it can move to demand forecasting and then supply planning, right? It can go across. But AI agent, in contrary, it's specific. It is more narrow focused. Get one task done at the right time, right? There are great tasks, right? I'm going to show you a demo today on one such agent, what we are seeing already great traction on the supply assurance side. I'm going to show you that. But there are many examples, right? I know you are all getting the questions. We'll have a lot of time at the end for questions, and we'll take a lot of your questions at the end. Keep having the questions. And then obviously it can recommend, it can perform a workflow, it can update it, all that. But we need to understand that these AI agents are going to be specific to the task, specific to that domain. And you are not, think of it like an employee, right? You are not going to hire a HR employee, finance employee, and put that same employee in supply chain as a buyer. Okay, negotiate with my supplier. You are not going to do that. The same way, you're going to have an AI agent who will take care of your benefits on the HR side. You will have an AI agent which will take care of your, supplier negotiation side, or a price negotiation, and follow up on the, payment from a customer. Different AI agents, right? So I just want to level set. Most of you know what the difference and all that, but then it's a good idea to level set. Now let's go to the topic, right? What are some of the common use cases, what we are seeing in supply chain? I know if you go ask ChatGPT or Copilot, you will get a lot of these, and depends on whether you are a logistics person or a warehouse person or a planning person, you can get a lot of answers, right, from that. But what we are seeing, I'm kind of putting it from the top to bottom, that the most interesting requests coming are on the planning side. That's one of the very complex tasks, as I mentioned, a lot of companies, and you need a seasoned planner. The planner need to know the machine learning data science today. And even if they do it, they can only do so much correlation and simulation and that sort of thing. So can the, agentic AI, can I hire an employee, AI employee to do that? That's something we are seeing a lot now. The adaptive planning and demand forecasting, and that's a common use case. The second is scenario planning, like more of what if, right? So not just asking a what if, but it is basically planning the scenario. Here is my demand, and based on an event happening in the sales, a promotion which is performing extremely well, sales team is happy, but that will have an impact on the supply side, right? Because you're going to stock out and all that. So how are you going to get to that? That is from a scenario planning and risk identification perspective. We are seeing that. A lot of retail clients are asking for that. Distribution clients are asking for that. Third is order management and allocation. So one of the issue for a distributor, for example, is like a lot of orders coming, and I have like only 100 quantities, and I have to take care of some of my strategic customers. So can the system intelligently allocate some of my stock to these critical orders, and then for the orders which are not critical, can it figure out when the next stock is going to come, whether I'm producing or I'm buying? Can it give me a smartly identified, right, to give me the date when this is going to come, so that the end customers will have a clue on where my order is, when it can be delivered, and all those. Of course, there are people who are doing it. It's a very complex job in a mid-market company. In the enterprise, obviously, they can have billions of dollar stock and manage it, but then in a mid-market, it's not that easy, right? So we are seeing that. And then, okay, now we got the plan and we got the scenarios and orders are allocated. Now, obviously, we need to deliver, right? What's the right way to deliver, right? Should I deliver it from my Chicago warehouse or my Mumbai warehouse, Chennai warehouse? So it's different, right? So, or which service to use, whether it is air or whether it is truck, like what kind of a service I need to use, and dynamically identifying based on the appointment, based on the distance, based on the price, based on the committed delivery. Can this dynamically suggest us that we are seeing that. That again, I put this in this order of the request coming to us, right? And then if they're a manufacturing company, that's a very big ask. Can this be my smart production planning? It's a huge work on production scheduling. On day one, my production schedule looked amazing, all good. But then I have a machine down or labor problem, or most of the time my raw materials are not there as expected. So what do I need to do? Like without losing my capacity utilization and without compromising my critical sales order delivery, what can I do? So can it little bit adapt to the change? The change is coming from resource, capacity, demand, and also the supply, right? All that. That's why I purposely put that in the center, that how that is coming, right? So we are seeing that. And then dynamic sourcing, obviously when we have multiple vendors, and depends on that, can it suggest the right vendor for the purchase orders, and dynamic sourcing side we are seeing it. And then a little bit more on inventory optimization. I think companies who are having a lot of inventory, they are keep asking that. We always put a lot of effort on this, slow moving and obsolete inventory and all that, right? And then can the system auto calibrate, and based on the demand forecasting, planning, and all those? It's not like how much excess inventory I had or I have right now, what I'm going to have in the next quarter. So that means what will be my cash flow for the next quarter. So inventory optimization, it's a great use case. Obviously, it's not an isolation, right? For inventory optimization to do, you have to have a lot of these, above boxes done. That is exactly that agentic AI come into play, right? Because it can do multiple tasks and provide you that optimization. And then I'm going to show you a demo for this next one, which is real-time, like a supplier collaboration. I know, we are working with a couple of automotive and industrial manufacturing company, and also with another large telecom equipment manufacturing companies. They have hundreds of buyers or hundreds of, supplier assurance agents, and they are working very late. They need to take care of, suppliers who are speaking different language and working in a totally different time zone. And how do we call them? How do we message them, right? So can I message them in a WhatsApp and get a response? And it need to be in a different language, right? So all that is possible now. That somewhat, I would say, more agent can do it, but in a collective terms, from a dynamic sourcing and call that supplier, and then it becomes take a plan, do a dynamic sourcing, and then supply collaboration. That's the agentic AI. But this one task, real-time supplier collaboration, is an AI agent, right? You can see that. Then dynamic pricing and cost optimization. Like if you asked 6 months back, I would have not put this. Now this is the hot one because of this tariff and because of this all the trade equation changing in the last 5-6 months. It's huge now. It's huge, and we have some great story on how some of our current customers are leveraging that, and they're asking the AI agent Athena in our case, recommending that pricing, right, based on the cost increase and all that. So those are all some of the use cases I wanted to highlight. I'm sure there are other use cases. Feel free in the same Q&A box. If you are seeing another very interesting use case, please do share, right? We will be able to share that with a larger audience on your behalf, and thank you also. So if you are seeing anything unique, please do share. There are a lot more from a quality in the production floor and a lot of things, and maintenance, a lot of that. I'm excluding them because I'm core focusing on the demand, supply, the inventory, core supply chain, a little bit logistics, what I'm focusing today. But there are a lot more on the manufacturing shop floor and mission data, quality data, all that. So hopefully this resemble with some of the things what you are seeing. I just want to take another maybe 5 minutes to introduce ConverSight and then take you to a demo, right, quickly. And then we will have that last 15 minutes for question and answer, a lot more discussion. So ConverSight, we started this company in 2017. Interestingly enough, we named the company ConverSight, Conversational Insight, meaning we realized that this is coming, that like to get insights, to make a decision, you just need to have a conversation. That is exactly what we are doing with AI, right? And our tagline was just ask, meaning just ask Athena, your AI employee, to get the job done, right? So that is what we started. And for first 2-3 years, we have to convince a lot of people that why, like I have Mike, or I have Bharat, I can ask, I have John, I can ask these questions. He will get me, he's a great planner and he'll do my planning. Why do I need an AI? Right? And now people are like, no, no, John do not have time. Now I need the AI to do it. So we are seeing that. So what we are bringing is that analytics and supply chain planning in one box. As Rizwan mentioned, that there are a lot of BI analytics companies. There are a lot of great supply chain planning solution, but we are bringing that together in the age of AI. So obviously we are delivering you insights, recommendation, and action. And we do that for across a lot of different systems. We connect to 135 different systems, most of the ERPs, CRM, and all that. And while today I'm covering about supply chain, we do work on sales and finance, few other places. And by the way, we have over 650 customers. And India, we are working with a lot of major, bigger brands, and globally. We are an established US company, but we have started our India operations 3 years back, and we've been seeing great progress. And I'm sure we are not putting all the logos here, but if you have any questions, comments, feel free, and we can discuss more. So I'll just double click what it works and then go to a demo, right, in another 2 minutes. Um, so as I mentioned, we are a one unified platform, a decision intelligence platform. So today, end of the day, if you need to make a decision, you don't have time really to go choose one tool for my data lake, another tool for Agentic AI, then another tool for my connecting to the ERP data, then another great tool for demand forecasting. What we are trying to get is, can we bring all those capabilities in under one umbrella, integrated? It may be a third-party tool can be embedded within, but part of that one unified platform, from connecting the data to applying data science to storing the data, then apply the two major skills, the Gen AI skills and Agentic AI skill. I'll show you the example. And then that will lead to the recommendations and actions and question and answers, all that in a platform, right? So that platform is fully integrated and ready to deploy, and we are a cloud neutral, right? That's very important in manufacturing and retail. Some of the retail customers want to use, Azure or Google, and other players want to use AWS. And cloud becoming. And I was talking to one of the large, industrial automation company. The cloud become their one of the top 10 expense today. One of the top 10. So I think in the next 3 to 5 years, companies will start thinking about that cloud lock, and wow, I'm locked with this player, and I'm not able to take that other cloud and promotions and all those. So we decided to build this whole thing in the cloud neutral way, and so you'll see that. Right? So anyway, that's out of context for supply chain and Agentic AI. So I'm just highlighting that it can be deployed in a secured and security and all those, which is very important, the backbone for the Agentic AI. So we have all that. Now, I'm going to go to the demo now, but what you'll see in the demo is the AI agent is answering a question and providing you the insights, performing some actions. For example, I talked about the collaboration with the supplier. So while you do the demand planning, production planning, all that with AI, but one of the items I'm going to show you, the supply assurance agent, is an agent which can, WhatsApp or call the supplier and negotiate for an early delivery, right? And that's super cool, right? So that way, the buyers, they don't need to do that, right? So the buyers can still need to be there to take care of some of the, escalations and other things and negotiations, but AI agent can do a lot of that task. So I'm going to double click on that. But feel free, if you schedule time with us, any of these other modules I showed you, we'll be able to double click and show them. So as I mentioned, you are hiring this employee named Athena. We started the company with Athena in 2017, and Athena keeps growing. So we started Athena to just do some data analysis. We started as a decision intelligent assistant. It will generate insights, it will create reports, it will create story, answer a question, identify risk opportunities. That's very important in today's case. That can the AI agent automatically identify my products which are selling very high, very good, beating my forecast. But that's great opportunity for sales team, but that's a risk for my supply chain on the stock out, right? I need to buy more and get more faster. And that's opportunity and risk, for example, right? And the lead time and the cost, the tariff impact, for example. So can the AI identify some of those risks and opportunity? That is what you will see within the decision intelligent assistant. The next, okay, can this Athena become a planner a little bit? Yes, right? That's where the demand and supply planner. So demand forecasting, simulation, supply forecast, and recommended purchase order or recommended transfer order, recommended forecast supply. Right? That I would say these are assistant in a way, right? Like you still have someone who is taking the decision. The AI is assisting them to take that. But then take that one step ahead in the Agentic AI or a AI agent workforce is where that one example I want to show you today is the supply assurance assistant, where it can understand the short-term visibility, what's going to happen in the next 6 weeks, and send a update to a supplier. Let's see if they're responding, and if not, call them, phone call, WhatsApp, email, and negotiate, get a better date and time, and maybe a partial order delivery, and update the ERP system, right? That end-to-end task, we will show you that, right? And then sometimes, they cannot deliver, and you are going to miss the sales order or a manufacturing order, so you need to escalate within the internal leadership team. So that's also there, right? So let's go one by one, right? Part of the demo, I'll come back to the slide a little bit. So I'm going to go to ConverSight. I have logged in. So 10 minutes, I'll do a demo, and then we'll come back to your Q&A. And at this time, while I get the demo, I want to launch another quick poll, my second poll. We only have 3 polls, don't worry. So let's go to the second poll. I want to have some of your things, what you're thinking. You have 79% of you said you are evaluating. So you are evaluating for a reason, right? So what is that? You want productivity, or you want headcount reduction? That, obviously you don't need to say that, it's an anonymous. We are not going to see who it is, but process automation, that's very common. Wow, that's a great, like 80% are going towards process automation. And some are employee productivity. I think productivity will come by default. And I would love to understand, there is couple of you are telling others, so, love to understand in an offline chat about what else you are looking for. Certainly, within supply chain, it can do a lot of things, right? What if my AI agent can do my demand forecasting and it's accurate? That's it, right? So it's going to take care of a lot of problems, from stockouts to cash flow and many other things. And my suppliers will love that because they have a better handle on it, right? So let's just keep survey keep going. You can hide it, and once you finish it. So this is a platform. So I just wanted to highlight few things, and then we'll go to that, right? So for example, you are looking at the AI, like what I meant the platform in the insight section. So the AI here, it generated bunch of insights. So there are some 2 critical shortage parts. It may cause a line stoppage, for example, or there are 15 customers. They're declining sales revenue, which is a problem for sales team, but which is also a problem for supply chain team. Now you're going to have excess inventory, and there may be an opportunity. Some products are selling faster than what you are thinking. 50% increase. So that means it's opportunity as well as a risk, as I mentioned, right? Some of these are automatically identified and alerted, right? One. And second case is where you come and ask a question, right? Like typically we all used to use those reports and dashboards and all those, and you just come and type a question and get an answer, right? So, say, get me the top 10, say, products with declining revenue this year. Let's just ask some question, and Athena will, go and process it. It's doing a lot of work behind the scene. I'll show you that. Okay, these are the customers declining, and behind the scene, there's an explanation on what happened, and it basically ran a query and what it has done. And then you can also see, it's, you want to know how it how it derived that logic, from which data it got that logic, and all those. It's tracing that logic back to provide that. It basically give you a description on how it is identified, the logic, and then it also provide you a technical, what table it used, what field it used, all that. And then it can also generate, right? So a lot of generative AI to start with here, but then this is backbone for your agentic AI. That's why I wanted to show you that. So you no longer need a report writing person, and you just need to come and ask a question. And it's also ask question, right? I asked a few minutes back, get me the product which has declining growth. And then it asks, like, what does declining growth mean for you, right? It can be on sales, revenue dollar, or quantity sold, and many things, right? So what is, I can provide it. And then I said, I think if I remember right, I said revenue. Okay, let's use revenue, I said, and then it has compared my current year and last year revenue. And, a customer who gave 580K for a particular product, 580K, and gave only 323 and all that, right? So it was able to do that last year to date and this year to date, same time, and to compare. So this is, a good second, the use case, what we have, when it goes on, right? So that what you are seeing, originally what we started, right? So thank you for that poll, and going to end that second poll. And just I'm seeing that 73% of the poll participant for the second poll said process automation is what you are looking for. I think that's very common. And I think that will lead to many things, right? That will obviously lead to employee productivity. That could lead to some cost saving. And it will also bring accuracy and all that. So process automation is everything to software. So I'll end that poll. And I have one more at the end. I'll come back. So now let's talk about few other use cases, right? So obviously, it can do demand forecasting, volume simulation. One interesting thing I want to talk about, right? Dynamic pricing and cost optimization. So what we have done here, so obviously beginning of the year for some of our customers, we have done this forecast, right? So we have done the forecasting, what will be the forecast sale, costs, margin, the margin, 28%, all that. Then the system is keep on monitoring at a lowest level, at item level, that what's the unit cost last year to this year, and what is the cost increase percentage, right? You can see that increase percentage. And then it's also, obviously cutting to the sales data and checking that, sometimes the product is sold as is, or the product is part of the BOM, and that BOM is in the product and that's sold. Like, it need to trace that logic. That's why I said it's not like, if then else, like simple code. It need to go beyond multiple subject areas, and it also need to, understand the BOM and other things, right? So based on that, it is basically identify some of those items where the price needs to be increased. And if you don't do that, yes, you will, you are increasing little bit price, so your sales is going to go up from 16 mil to 17 mil. But then the 28% margin, what we were projecting, that's now it's going to be 23%, right? So, and supply chain team, you can say, oh, this is all dollar, it's CFOs, right? Finance, no, right? This is supply chain, because you are buying from a country where you have a higher tariff. Then do you want to mitigate that, right? So only you can do it. Only the supply chain team can do it, right? So it is not a CFO's problem. It is CFO's dashboard, but the problem is supply chain team's problem, right? So we are really trying to identify and then help that what improvements to be made, right? So that is something that. Then another thing is, this is an interesting use case, like supplier risk mitigation, right? So this is an interesting where we are seeing some of our, automotives and large customers that we look at, where they are in terms of their supplier risk overall, what's the rank, how did they do, are they critical for us, and what is their, quality risk, delivery risk, how is the past performance. This is an interesting thing. Future scale-up risk, that's where the AI coming in. That based on the past performance and all those, based on the forecast that demand, if there are new material we need from this particular supplier, or we need some material where the demand is higher than the past, they have shipped like, say, 1,000 quantities every week. Now suddenly you are seeing for November you need 2,000 quantities. there is no way they can't just add another production line to, double the productivity. That's a clear risk, right? So now the AI can connect the dot, right? Historically, how much they sold and their capacity and your demand forecasting, bomb, all that. Based on that, what we are looking at is that what you will end up with. So this is exactly where the value is coming in. Again, the data is multiple modules, right? So, and looking at the past and looking at the future of the demand and looking at that, there are 21 critical material where the demand is increasing, right? And they have never delivered it, right? So that is a scale-up risk. Now, obviously, we want to mitigate it, right? That's the next step, right? I'm going to show you that. So that is where we go to the third use case, which is the real-time supplier collaboration and the assurance, getting an assurance. So let's go to that, right? So I'm going to launch that. So let's get, okay, so think of it, in your company, you have, say, 10 or 15 or 100 buyers. And each of those buyers, at any time, they have like, 10, 15, suppliers they are managing. And they need to keep track of all the orders, or they, some vendors, one-off vendor, you need to call them and inform them, hey, did you get the order? Can you confirm? Verbally, you will be able to deliver, like confirmation they need. Sometimes the vendor call you or email you that, hey, it's running late, I don't have the raw material, I need to delay it. Or your sales team change the plan and you need to build more or a different variant, different item. So that means you need a more different raw material. So there are scenarios where throughout the week, the buyers are calling or doing WhatsApp to the suppliers. Can we take the agent to help you, right? So in this particular case, for example, there is one order that's delayed and you can view the details and all that. So, okay, the order is delayed and, hold up. So can we talk to the supplier and get a partial thing? So, it can be automated. For a demo purpose, I'm showing you it's like click on negotiate, but then the AI will automatically do it. Right? You need to put it in autonomous mode. And if you put mode is in autonomous, then it's going to automatically call, right? That's a setting for that. And when you click on negotiate and the numbers is already, your master data is providing that, and it can make a phone call, right? I will actually receive a phone call, but I'm going to, for this, I'm going to just recorded one. I'm going to show you that. But once that, let's go to that recording and let me quickly play. Just a minute. You will hear my voice. I'm talking to that Athena, the agent. Okay, here. Let's go here. This one, can you hear the script?
No, could not hear, Ganesh.
You could not, right? Let me. Can you hear now?
No.
This one, can you come on board?
I'm not able to hear it. Yeah, it is coming on.
How's your day going?
Yeah, going well. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. I wanted to discuss our purchase order number 1242. We've noticed a delay in shipment. Could we negotiate a new shipment date?
What's the order number you said?
The order number is 1242.
Got it. 1242. Give me a second. Let me pull this one in my ERP.
Thank you, Vinay. A new shipment date. We'd like to ensure a timely delivery.
Got it. How about next week, Friday? 12th. 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 12
Next week, Friday, would be April 11th. That's 7 days from now. Could we aim for an earlier date, preferably within the next 5 days?
I can ship it on Monday, no, Wednesday, but I need to air ship it. But you guys cover the cost for that?
Shipping on Wednesday, April 9th sounds good. Regarding the airship cost, let me check with our finance team and get back to you shortly.
Okay, if you confirm on Monday, I can still deliver on Wednesday. If you don't confirm, I will ship it on Friday, okay?
Understood, Ganesh. I'll work on getting confirmation by...
So you got the contacts, right? So that is kind of how it works. Let me change. Hope you can hear me now.
Yes.
Hopefully no background noise. Okay, so that is how it works, right? So that's just a sample. And at the end of the call, you will have the form. If you like to have a live demo, we should be able to schedule it and show you. Very interesting. I'll tell you where it's the way it is negotiating. We can set the sentiment and a lot of that, right? Sometimes if the vendor is delayed, you want to talk differently. And then if we are changing the plan, we need it. You want to be a little bit more, humble and pleasing, right? So the AI can actually do a lot of that stuff, and it's not a lot of work. It's doing an amazingly interesting job, right? So that's how it works. And then post that, right? So once that call is done, it basically do a lot of the transcript from that call, and then it identify all the what action it's taken and what's the new delivery date look like, and if there is a additional cost for the air freight, it will capture that and notes all that, and then it can now go to ERP planning, whichever system. Yes, and whichever system you are tracking, right? So you'll have that all that, and then sometime you can, if there is a call, right now there's no call I made it, but there's a call, but it can invite you, right? It can do a 3-way joint call, right? If it's a call, if it's a WhatsApp, it's different, but it can also do that, right? There are a lot of possibilities, and by the time the buyer wake up and get ready, coming to the office at 10 o'clock. The AI agent would have finished calling all the 20 suppliers and, hey, Mark, here is the summary of all the calls I made and who picked up and who did not, whom I need to call them back, and who accepted, who did not, like all that, right? So how cool that will be, right? It is going to, believe it, it's in a year or two, we are going to see it big time, right? So that's something what I want to really show, and exciting stuff.